The Indiana Fever fans are disgusted with Stephanie White tonight after the 81-80 loss to the Dallas Wing. The Indiana Fever fans, especially the Caitlin Clark fans, are throwing Stephanie White under the bus. And we're going to unpack all that here next, here on the Simply Ball Talking Podcast. Well, guys, we saw the Indiana Fever take a 1-point loss to the Dallas Wing at home, 81-80. And after the game, the Indiana Fever fans are going crazy. They're losing it, especially the Caitlin Clark fans. They are throwing Stephanie White under the bus, and they are disgusted Stephanie White. Tonight's game against the Dallas Wing, that was a pretty good game, man. It was an exciting game from start to finish. We saw runs by both teams, but we saw the Dallas Wing. They went on I think it was a 19-0 run, and fans are questioning Stephanie White for not utilizing a timeout. That game was played physical. We had some questionable calls. Aaliyah Boston really wasn't getting a favorable whistle. Kelsey Mitchell was getting played physical, and some calls was not being made. But overall, the game was a lot of physicality. Now, the officials, they started it off by not calling them ticky-tack fouls. And tonight, they was letting them girls play. Now, we saw, Natasha Howard. She had 12 points. She had 12 rebounds, so she was a beast down low. Aaliyah Boston, she had 14-8 or 14-5. Now, Kelsey Mitchell had another great game tonight. She had 24 points. She was 7-15 from the field, 6-7 from the free throw line, 4-7 from 3-point range. Sophie Cunningham had another, a good shooting performance. She shot over 50% from the field. She had 14. But Chloe Bibby came off the bench, man. Chloe Bibby gave the Indiana Fever a spark. She had 11 points. Now, Indiana Fever dropped to 18-15 on the year, and the Dallas Wing move up to 9-24. Now, Paige Beckers had another great overall game, 16 points. She had 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and Maddie Sechrist, 22 big points to lead the Dallas Wings. And they played this game without Arike Umbawale. Alicia Allen Hines came off the bench. She had 8, but Lee Uru, 20 big points off the bench. When you get bench production like that, that means that your team is in a pretty good position when you outscore the opposition coming off the bench and you outscore their bench, and that's a big plus. And that's what happened for the Dallas Wing tonight. Now, after the game, a lot of people went to social media and they are disgusted with Stephanie White, and they are throwing Stephanie White under the bus. And Stephanie White said some interesting things at the post-game press conference. But before we get off into that, we are partnered up with Underdog Fantasy, a new sponsorship. And now here's a word from our sponsor. Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy sports. Let me tell you about the easiest way to get in on some WNBA and NBA action. Find your player, pick higher or lower, win you some extra cash. Pick between 2 to 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and win some serious cash. Use my promo code SBD23 and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now that it's football time, Follow Simply Ball Dropping as I share my picks. Like I said, pick your player, choose your amount, win money. Make picks, win cash. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for the partnership with us. And thank you for using promo code SBD23 on Underdog Fantasy. Now, guys, make sure y'all use my promo code SBD23, and that will let you know that'll be greatly appreciated, and that means you're supporting the channel. Well, let's get off into what Stephanie White said at the post-game press conference. I want y'all to take a listen.
Dallas run was the difference. What did you see go sideways in that stretch?
Well, I didn't think our attention to detail on defense was very good. They got loose for some easy ones. We started fouling, getting to the free throw line, and turning the ball over. I mean, there were moments where, there's no transition defense for turnovers for scores, and, we had multiple in a row. I mean, 27 points off of turnovers, and, I felt like our group did some uncharacteristic things with the ball in our hands, and it led to easy buckets.
You kind of just described all this, but the turnover is only 15 assists. What kind of led to the disorganization that you saw on the offensive end tonight?
Well, all of our point guards are injured. I think that's the first thing. And again, it's one of those things. Dallas turned up the pressure. I mean, defensively, they made it a little bit more difficult for us to bring down the ball and initiate offense, and became a little bit more disruptive. And we're working Odyssey into what we do, but still, it's tough because point guards are the ones who get you organized. And there were times where we weren't organized. There were times where we were over dribbling, got away from, our off ball actions and went straight to trying to go one-on-one. And that's when we're not successful or as successful as we can be. And so we got a little tunnel vision there. And that's where I say that we did some uncharacteristic things, at times.
Yeah, I mean, you guys went on your own run there in the fourth, got back to obviously just the 1 point deficit. Mm-hmm. Just what changed between the third and the fourth, and what did you guys start doing well?
I think our defensive energy, we got to forcing them into some tough shots, and we defended without fouling, and that allowed us to get out in transition and allowed us to push the ball and get some easy buckets. I thought our ATO execution at times was really good, especially in that fourth quarter. We got some good looks out of it, but more than anything, again, when it starts on the defensive end, it allows us to get out and to run in transition and to play faster. And we're at our best when we do that. And especially, when we're limited with the point guard position, you're not holding on to the ball for a long time. You're passing it ahead, you're attacking, you're going.
To the point of the physicality, we even talked about it pregame. How disruptive maybe was that to both maybe the flow and what both teams were trying to do and find a rhythm out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a physical game. I think there's a double standard in how people get their calls. I think Kelsey Mitchell, number one, is held or chucked on every freaking possession and never gets a call off the ball. I think Aaliyah Boston is the worst officiated post player in the league. She never gets a call. And there's a double standard there, certainly. But again, if it's going to be physical and you're gonna allow us to be physical, then allow both teams to be physical.
Now you heard what Stephanie White had to say, man. She addressed the media personnel, and she's talking about the physicality of the game. Aaliyah Boston gets no calls. Kelsey Mitchell gets held or chucked on every possession. But basically, a lot of fans are coming at Stephanie White because of that 19-point run Dallas went on, and she didn't call a timeout. And also the last possession when the Dallas Wings was up 81-80, and Paige came down and missed a little floater in the lane. They got the rebound, got it out to Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell did a lot of dribbling, and then they called that timeout to get the ball back in a possession with 1.7 seconds left on the clock. Wasn't able to draw up a play. Kelsey Mitchell went to the corner and she missed a three, went off the top of the backboard, and that's all she wrote. And a lot of fans are disgusted, and that's the reason why they want Caitlin Clark back. And that's the reason why a lot of Indiana fans and Caitlin Clark fans, especially the Caitlin Clark fans, want Caitlin Clark back. Just put the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands, get out the way, and let Caitlin Clark orchestrate everything that's going on out there, and just downplaying Stephanie White as a coach on the sideline. Just let Caitlin do everything. That's the way the Caitlin Clark fans and the YouTube content creators talk. They just want Caitlin Clark. Put the ball in Caitlin Clark's hand. Everybody else get out of the way. She gonna make a play for you. And that's how the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark fans want it. But right now, they're crashing out on the internet about Stephanie White, trying to tell everybody, saying that's the reason why Stephanie White's not a good coach. We need her going. But like I told everybody, this is going to be the same situation for any coach that comes in, and the Indiana Fever fans, especially the Caitlin Clark fans, don't like what they see. They're going to want that coach getting up out of there as well. So we don't know who can be a coach for the Indiana Fever and don't get thrown under the bus the way they threw Christy Sides under the bus last year, and now the way they throwing Stephanie White under the bus. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. And just in case I forgot, tell a friend and tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.